Next up, we have Andrey from Haqq Network, who will be presenting instead, and Solange will be here later on. Welcome, Andrey, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. I am Andrey, CTO and co-founder of Haqq Network. Haqq Network is a Sharia-compliant, proof-of-stake, EVM-compatible network. Before I go to Oracle part, I will tell a few words why we are building this. First of all, there is 1.9 billion of Muslims worldwide, and more than 1 billion of them are connected to internet, online. At the same time, doesn't work. Yeah. At the same time, it's expected that by the end of this year, the Islamic finance market will hit 3.5 trillion, not billion, trillion US dollars. It's a huge market. At the same time, it's untapped by crypto industry. Here's why. Current DeFi ecosystem is not Sharia compliant. It's ethically not acceptable by faithful Muslims. Some are there, but most of them, for them, it's not acceptable to be involved in this. The whole DeFi economy sits on lending with interest rate, which is usury or riba. It's number one thing which is forbidden in Islamic ethics. The whole thing is speculative. There is lots of gambling, scams. 99% of tokens listed on Uniswap are basically scams. And in Haqq Network, we actually believe that community of crypto builders kind of lost its original path. Initially, we've been dreaming about just normal people changing their lives, removing intermediary, making financial services cheaper, more accessible. And now what we see is just Web3 folks building for other Web3 folks. There are no new people coming to the ecosystem. We forgot about real world purpose. We forgot about normal people who are not technical savvy. Furthermore, the wallets, they are not accessible. There are lots of scams, not because there are lots of scammers, but just because it's not easy to be safe in crypto. So getting back to the Haqq Network, our goal is to create a gateway to Web3 world, to DeFi world, to dApp world for the global Muslim population, and expand use cases to the real world use cases. That's why we're building this network and its ecosystem. However, even though the network and our tokenomics white paper, the vision, is already Sharia compliant. We have a fatwa. It's basically the halal certificate, which states that every aspect is Sharia compliant. It's not enough. We're building not just a network, but an ecosystem of dApps. And at some point, we started thinking about how to provide a framework for dApp builders or smart contract developers to assure their users that their service is Sharia compliant. In other words, ethically acceptable by these users. That's how we came up to the Sharia Oracle idea. Very simply saying, it's on-chain registry of halal certificates. Yeah, I will come to these slides a bit later. This Sharia Oracle has two levels of approvals: community and Sharia approval, and governed by a community of Islamic coin stakers and our Sharia board. First, couple of words what Sharia board is. Sharia board is a very common thing in traditional Islamic finance. banks, financial institutions, even fintech startups, they all have a Sharia board. And it's not just a common thing, it's a mandatory thing. They oversee the operations, they help the executive team uh, to decide whether they build the feature or product or not, or how to build the feature or product in a way that it is ethically acceptable by Muslim world. It's kind of it's an authority which has an expertise over the Sharia law. And we have exactly same Sharia board. We, as a Haqq association, Swiss-based company, which consists of world-renowned scholars. One of them, Sheikh Nizam Yaqubi, he is a member of more than 40 Sharia advisory board of banks such as Lloyd's, Standard Chartered, Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank, and much more. Like I said, 40. They oversee our operations as well. They help us release new white paper with new features. And most importantly, they consult us on how can we support our community of our DApp builders in a way for them to become Sharia compliant. And they are actually a data source for the Sharia Oracle. That's why we called it Oracle. Let's take an example. Project comes to our network and deploys a smart contract. We're totally permissionless network. Sharia Oracle does not affect the network operations. You can deploy any smart contract which is EVM compatible on chain. And once it's deployed, users can interact with it through MetaMask, Trust Wallet, whatever wallet which is EVM compatible, and can add custom networks. But when you deployed it and you want to go for Muslim users, first you apply for a community approval. Through the network governance, you put a proposal. Community of Islamic coin stakers vote for or against it. If they voted yes, the smart contract or a set of smart contracts gets a community approval in the form of soul bond token, which goes onto the balance of the smart contract. This level serves as an initial filter, which filters obvious scams, obvious non-ethical things, and some trolling, for example. Once you got a community approval, you apply for a Sharia approval. It's been done on a special smart contract. Then this application goes to our Sharia board. They conduct a very deep and thorough Sharia compliance audit. They provide the feedback. It's a conversational process. Builders fix issues, if any. And if everything is good, Sharia board issues another certificate, which is a Sharia compliance certificate, also in the form of SBT, soul bond token. This soul bond token acts as a digital representation of Sharia compliance certificate and has a link to the PDF version of the opinion signed by our Sharia board. One more thing, why we call it Oracle? It's not enough to just get the opinion. Oracle, the data provided by the Oracle has to be used by other ecosystem element. And here are a few examples. First, and currently the most important of them, is the Haqq wallet. It's a mobile wallet in which we focus on simplicity without sacrificing security. For example, there we solve a problem of mnemonic. We soon will release a feature in which you can create a non-custodial account without needing to store this mnemonic, because there is not any. But you can read about this in our blog post. Now I will focus on Oracle. How Sharia Oracle affects the wallet? First, we'll have a marketplace in which users will be able will be able to only see the services which have a level of approval equals or above the preferred level of approval, which user can set in settings. But most importantly, signing engine. Once the user signs the transaction, the wallet traces these transactions and looks for smart contracts below the user preferred level of approval. And if there is any, we show a warning. So this makes user sure that whatever transaction he signs is Shariah compliant, or at least community approved. This design has interesting implication on pure technical security. Some of you may know that a few months ago, Curve DEX was hacked, but it was not a smart contract hack. They hijacked the DNS and swapped the front end, which forwarded users to a malicious smart contract. In Haqq network, the Shariah oracle would reduce the amount of users impacted by this hack. Let's say Curve DAO is deployed on Haqq network. By the way, Curve is pretty much Shariah compliant. And users are swapping tokens without any warnings, and then suddenly Curve was hacked, and users sees this warning. So this warning would not say that Curve was hacked, but at least it gives a chance for the user to give it a second thought, whether to sign this transaction or not, because it's an unusual thing. Warning when you transact with Curve. Second use case is on EVM level. Thanks to implementation in the form of soulbound tokens, smart contracts or DEXs, whatever, what accepts liquidity in the form of ERC20 or NFT tokens. These smart contracts can check whether this incoming liquidity token or its smart contract has Shariah or community approval, and decide whether accept this liquidity or not, or just provide different logic depending on the level of approval or its existence. And the third scenario, I came to this one just a few days ago when spoke to amazing people here in Paris, in particular with the SKIP protocol. We are now exploring to expand Shariah oracle influence to consensus and block building algorithm. Transactions which interact only with the Shariah compliant certificates will get a discount on gas price and also reward Shariah compliant smart contracts deployers. Same for community approved smart contracts with a different coefficient. But most importantly, smart contracts which do not have any kind of approval. They can take only up to 5 or 10% of block space. This would make it much harder for bad or malicious actors to exploit network, its liquidity, and most importantly, users. They are still free to do it on BNB chain and whatever. In Haqq network, they are not welcome. And now it's not just a statement, it will be implemented technically. I am wrapping up. We have a grant program for ethical products, more than 40 billions. Feel free to apply if you are building something. We also have a Hackpad, which will help you to let our community know that you are going to build a project and also raise some funds. Feel free to apply to this as well. And here are a few more QR codes. We have a blog post about Shariah Oracle, which explains what I just stated in more details, and 2 websites for the Haqq network and its native currency, Islamic coin. If you have any questions, happy to answer.